This is the NLT, Exodus 17. These are the notes first. The whole community of Israel left the wilderness of Sin. The note says the geographical name Sin is related to Sinai and should not be confused with the English word sin, S-I-N. The next note is, I will stand before you on the rock at Mount Sinai, Hebrew Horeb, another name for Sinai. Okay. The last note is, they have raised their fist against the Lord's throne, so now the Lord will be at war with Amalek generation after generation. And the note says, or hands have been lifted up to the Lord's throne. In other words, they have raised their, or I'm not sure. Anyway, this is it right here. Hands have been lifted up to the Lord's throne. And now the Lord will be at war with generation after. He said they have, so it would be they have raised their hands, or they have, or their hands, he said, maybe, I guess, their hands have been lifted up to the Lord's throne. Anyway, so that's verse 16 in Exodus chapter 17. So this is the NLT. At the Lord's command, the whole community of Israel left the wilderness of Sin. That's S-I-N is pronounced Sin. So maybe Sinai is pronounced Sinai. Anyway, I'm going to start again. And at the Lord's command, the whole community of Israel left the wilderness of Sin and moved from place to place. Eventually, they camped at Rephidim, but there was no water there for the people to drink. So once more, the people complained against Moses. Give us water to drink, they demanded. Quiet, Moses replied. Why are you complaining against me? And why are you testing the Lord? But tormented by thirst, they continued to argue with Moses. Why did you bring us out of Egypt? Are you trying to kill us, our children, and our livestock with thirst? Then Moses cried out to the Lord, what should I do with these people? Then Moses cried out to the Lord, what should I do with these people? They are ready to stone me. The Lord said to Moses, walk out in front of the people, take your staff, the one you used when you struck the water of the Nile, and call some of the elders of Israel to join you. I will stand before you on the rock at Mount Sinai. Strike the rock, and water will come gushing out. Then the people will be able to drink. So Moses struck the rock as he was told, and water gushed out as the elders looked on. Moses named the place Massah, which means test, and Meribah, which means arguing. I guess probably in the American Standard Version and King James Version, it wouldn't have those things. They're in parentheses, as you can see there, just explaining what Massah and Meribah mean. Anyway, I'm going to read it again. Moses named the place Massah, which means test, and Meribah, which means arguing, because the people of Israel argued with Moses and tested the Lord by saying, is the Lord here with us or not? While the people of Israel were still at Rephidim, the warriors of Amalek attacked them. Moses commanded Joshua, choose some men to go out and fight the army of Amalek for us. Tomorrow I will stand at the top of the hill, holding the staff of God in my hand. So Joshua did what Moses had commanded and fought the army of Amalek. Meanwhile, Moses, Aaron, and Hur climbed to the top of a nearby hill. As long as Moses held up the staff in his hand, the Israelites had the advantage. But whenever he dropped his hand, the Amalekites gained the advantage. Moses' arms soon became so tired he could no longer hold them up. So Aaron and Hur found a stone for him to sit on. Then they stood on each side of Moses, holding up his hands. So his hands held steady until sunset. As a result, Joshua overwhelmed the army of Amalek in battle. After the victory, the Lord instructed Moses, write this down on a scroll as a permanent reminder and read it aloud to Joshua. I will erase the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Moses built an altar there and named it Yahweh Nisi, which means the Lord is my banner. He said, They have raised their fist against the Lord's throne. So now the Lord will be at war with Amalek, generation after generation.